In the next 60 minutes here on Newsnight, government beats retreat as consideration of controversial public universities bill is suspended in Parliament.
In view of the criticism and the number of petitions that we have received, it will be better for government to hold on with the passing of the bill, because there's a need still for greater consultation. So it will not feature as part of the bills we are doing for this meeting of Parliament.
Tonight, the University Teachers Association welcomes the decision but wants more consultation on any future consideration of the bill.
The expectation will be that the various stakeholders who have concerns with the bill would be duly engaged, and ultimately, if there will be any need for a new bill at all, then of course we would all be on the same page.
Also tonight, death toll in church building collapse at Achim Batabi continues to rise, with 20 bodies, many now decomposing, retrieved from the rubble.
We are going to work and search through every rubble until the last man is rescued or the last body is recovered.
We are live at the scene tonight. Also, accessibility to public facilities, construction of resource center, and jobs are key issues that will determine who wins the elections in the Boku constituency. We are live in Boku tonight ahead of the Joy Ballot Box show, which comes off in 24 hours.
And in business, IMF warns the country's rising debt stock remains the biggest threat to the economy in terms of stabilizing it.
And tonight, Nigeria's 2021 budget in danger as Speaker of the House of Representatives warns he will not sign on its implementation unless it contains compensation for people abused by police in the last decade.
I will not sign off on a budget that does not meet the reasonable demands of the ASU, to which government has already acceded.
Meanwhile, as the House prepares to receive a new legislation aiming to reform the Nigeria police force, protesters are still on the streets of Nigeria.
As a woman, I come back at night. Police will be telling me that where did I get money to buy my vehicle? They'll call me prostitute. We cannot do that. I work too hard for my money, man.
Stop killing our boyfriends. Stop killing our children. Stop. Mothers are crying. Stop killing them.
Ever. Now, today, not tomorrow. And stop now.
In sports,
owner and bankroller of King Faisal FC, Alhaji Karim Gruza, wants to see the club remain in Ghana's top flight, at least until he dies. Details when I join you much later with sports.
You want to join us with your thoughts? 05511119997. My name is Evans Mensah. Well, Parliament has suspended tonight consideration of the controversial Public Universities Bill due to public outrage. The bill, which seeks to harmonize the governance, operations and administration of public universities in the country, has generated controversy and criticism from stakeholders in the education sector since its introduction. While some contend that the bill seeks to take away academic freedom and the autonomy of public universities, the Education Ministry has argued that it will harmonize the management of public universities. Now, ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament, Peter Nochu Kotoye, is happy with the step taken by government.
The Committee on Education looked at the Public Universities Bill, and we have recommended that in view of the criticism and the number of petitions that we have received, it will be better for government to hold on with the passing of the bill, because there's a need still for greater consultation. So it will not feature as part of the bills we are doing for this meeting of Parliament. I have already many a time said that that bill was not necessary, because it was going to stifle the freedom of the universities. Yeah, so academic freedom will be stifled. So government should withdraw it. So I've been of that position long ago. So if it does not go through, better for government.
Well, the bill which we are learning has been suspended, has divided the front of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG itself. In fact, the University of Ghana branch of the association has initiated an impeachment process against the national president of UTAG, Professor Charles Marfel, accusing him of sidestepping the association's position on the bill, which they say was inimical to the academic freedom in public universities. So how is the association taking the latest development? Here is the president of the University of Ghana branch of Utah, Professor Samuel Nkrumah.
Well, of course, the indication is that there is some listening that has happened, because there was quite some insistence, even given the president's engagement with one of the media houses, at which he says the bill is uncontestable. And so maybe some due consideration is being given to the various stakeholders who have raised concerns regarding this bill. And so we think that if it's the case that it's going to be suspended, of course, the expectation will be that the various stakeholders who have concerns with the bill would be duly engaged, and ultimately, if there'll be any need for a new bill at all, then of course we would all be on the same page on grounds that we are not violating our constitution, and also that we are not infringing on academic freedoms of our university.
I want to bring in now the ranking on the Education Committee in Parliament, and Peter Nochu joins us on the telephone line. Right, if you can clarify, so did government offer any explanation for the withdrawal at this stage?
Thank you very much. The discussion we had this morning, it is not has withdrawn the bill, or the minister has withdrawn the bill. The committee, after this deliberations on the bill, we looked at the number of petitions, the recommendations that have been made, and we have recommended that, which is yet to reach the speaker anyway, to the minister that as we do for a number of bills, it will be proper for him to take our recommendations on board so that the bill can be enriched. And then what we will have to do is to rewrite the bill, incorporate the recommendations from the various stakeholders and the committee members into a new bill. Then he will come to the floor, seek the permission of the speaker, withdraw the current bill, then relay another one if he still wants to pass the public universities bill. So at this
stage, it is the Education Committee, and again, clarity is important here. Both the majority and minority side agree that the bill should be suspended, and formally writing to the speaker about this with the recommendation.
No, we will not formally write to the speaker. At the consideration level within the committee, normally the minister is advised as to what to do. So our advice to him is that the committee will have to suspend work on the bill so that he takes on board our recommendations. He will have to go back to cabinet that this is the recommendation of the committee, which he would like to incorporate into a new bill. If that is approved by cabinet, then he must now come back to the House, seek the leave of the speaker that he wants to withdraw the current bill. Then he will grant him the leave, he will withdraw it and lay another one. If he so wants to pass the bill before Parliament comes to the end of his life, early January. So that will depend on the minister. If he wants the bill to come in the form in which it is now, with the numerous proposed amendments, as a committee, we will go ahead and then do the consideration and submit our reports to the speaker. So we are waiting for the minister, whatever decision he has taken, probably with cabinet, he will come back to the committee, then we will move from there.
So this recommendation is a united one.
We as a committee, we have recommended that we suspend work on it until he comes back to tell us what to do.
Okay, and this, now that you made the recommendation, the ball is not the minister's court to decide what to do with this recommendation.
Yes, because he has a number of bills, he may like to prioritize them, so that will depend on him.
Stay with me. I want to bring in Dr. Samuel Nkumban, who, of course, is the University of Ghana president of the UTAG, joins us on the telephone line right now. Doc, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. Just listening there to the ranking member say that if they look at the sheer number of memoranda and input that had come in, objections, the committee is recommending they suspend or work on this until everything else is considered and the bill rewritten. I know you put in one of those documents raising issues. You've welcomed it, but it's far from over, is it not? Maybe because you're still waiting for the Education Ministry to decide what to do with this recommendation.
Well, thank you for having me, and also I would want to greet our listeners. Of course, reality is that the basis for which UTAC put up a position indicating that the bill had some challenges in relation to constitutional provisions in respect of our Fourth Republican Constitution, as well as in the interest of what tertiary education ought to be in relation to ensuring that our nation has the best. We are of a candid opinion that the bill in its state isn't something that is necessary, neither is it something that is going to inure to the benefit of tertiary education. And so our view has been that the bill should be dropped. And ultimately, it's important to note that aside UTAC making this call, there are several other, not only local but international bodies that have heeded to the same call, that many of the provisions would contravene not only the 1992 Constitution, but would seek to take away the freedoms that are enshrined for tertiary institutions. And for which reason we thought that the bill as it stands is not going to be anything that would inure to the benefit of tertiary education in Ghana, and that we want it to be dropped.
Give me clarity on this. When you say you want it dropped, you think a bill is not necessary at all and shouldn't have even been there in the first place, or it should be rewritten, as we've just been hearing from the committee? We
have two critical matters here: that the bill is not necessary and that the bill is also unconstitutional.
So you simply want the status quo to remain?
Unnecessary because the reason for which the bill seeks to be made are not tenable, in the sense that if the indication is that many of the universities have veered off from their original mandate, which on the basis of the laws that establish them, and that is the reason for wanting to bring this bill, then of course we are of the view that government has regulatory bodies that can flip the institutions back to order in terms of what they were required to be doing. Also that if it comes to issues of commonality of governance, similarly, it is possible for the regulatory bodies to do that. And I'll give you an example of the fact that before we got to this point where we are, National Council for Tertiary Education had already circulated a document in relation to promotions for consideration by the universities. And so if it's about harmonization of standards in relation to the governance structures and operations within the university systems, then of course the regulatory bodies could do that. And we do not need a new bill to be able to do all of these. And so generally you look at what the motive for the bill is, and it is unclear. Besides that, we also are saying that there are several provisions that contravene the 1992 Constitution, particularly with reference to academic freedoms. And we think that even if it is a bill that has to pass, then of course all stakeholders, as have expressed varying opinions, must be brought on board for a draft that reflects the needs of all of us, and that reflects the needs of the institution, reflects the fact that tertiary education will be better off rather than what we currently have.
Mr. Anochu, so tell me, I mean, now that you've made a recommendation, do you have any timelines when, in terms of going forward, getting clarity on what will happen now before the life of this parliament expires? Any timelines you're working with? Have you managed to get any feedback since the decision was taken today, this morning?
Well, of course, the basis is whether or not
Dr. Kamban, just give us a second. Let me get clarity on this from the ranking on the Education Committee.
I'm happy to hear that it's going to go on suspension. And certainly if it is to go on suspension, the implication is that we will be looking forward to consultation that reflects the needs of majority of the Ghanaian populace in relation to what we are talking about. And so we are not putting timelines to our proposition, but we are believing that if they are listening to us, then of course the indication is that we would want to have some positive response in relation to stakeholder engagement.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Kamo, stay with me briefly. Mr. Nochu, that question?
Yeah, just as he said, as a committee, we will not give any deadline to the Minister for Education. Relay the bill as he deems fit. So we are waiting for him patiently. Whatever direction he gives us or indications he gives us, then we will see what to do. But in any case, once we have recommended that suspension, you will come back to us, say, okay, your recommendations have been taken on board, so he's going to do A, B, C, D, and come back to the House. He has done that on a number of occasions, so we feel strongly that he's going to do same. And if he's able to come before the term of Parliament expires, fine. If he's not able to do so, that will be the end of the bill. Okay. Because you can carry it over to the next Parliament.
Okay, and thank you.
Unconstitutional.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nochu. Dr. Kamban, very briefly, I know you started, I'm talking about University of Ghana branch of UTAC, started an impeachment process against your national president. What's the update on that?
Well, of course, if everybody followed correctly, the reality is that as against the position of the national, we were not at variance, except, of course, that the call was for us to have suspended the press conference which we held, which we didn't do because given the times in which we were and the need to ensure that there was some correction regarding public opinion regarding our position on the bill, we had to go ahead with the press conference. And so it didn't have to do with the content of what we said in relation to the public universities bill. We are on the same page in as far as the fact that the bill is unnecessary.
Is your impeachment process still on?
Was concerned.
Is your impeachment process still on, or you withdrawn it?
I didn't get that right.
The impeachment process, we understand you started. Is still on, or you withdrawn it?
Oh no! UTAC had our last release indicated that we're withdrawing our intention to impeach the national president, and so our issues with national are resolved. In terms of the intended impeachment proceedings against the national president.
I'm grateful. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Newsnight. That's Dr. Samuel Kamban. He's the president of UTAC at the University of Ghana. Well, still listening to Newsnight. It is emerging tonight that the death toll from the collapse of the church building at Achim Batabi in the eastern region has risen to 28. Others who survived continue to receive treatment at a hospital. As our correspondent report, there's a strong stench emanating from the rubble now. NADMO is also reporting many of the retrieved bodies have now started decomposing. Listening to the director of the NADMO Inspectorate, Richard Amoyate.
We've met you once again this afternoon to update you on what has happened so far. From our last update, one body has been recovered and sent to our Ghana government hospital. And I must once again say on behalf of the team who has been working since Tuesday, we send our heartfelt sympathies and condolences to bereaved families. And then also assure that we are going to work and search through every rubble until the last man is rescued or the last body is recovered. Let me take this opportunity to give you a breakdown of what has been happening so far. On the first day, 5 bodies were recovered and 9 persons were rescued and sent to the Odan government hospital. After 1 person passed on, and the hospital confirmed 6 persons dead on the first day. On the second day, 10 persons or 10 bodies were recovered and sent to the government hospital. Were all confirmed dead. And today, as at this very moment, 2 bodies have been recovered today. So in all, 18 bodies have been recovered from the rubble and declared dead. You know, we are painstakingly searching through the rubble because we don't know the numbers we are searching for. So I don't want to put any time based on what we are doing. But like I've said, we're going to search through until we search through everything, and then we are sure that there's nobody in there. That is our major challenge because nobody is able to confirm the numbers that were in the building at the time of the collapse. So that's why I said we are searching through everything until we finish clearing the rubble.
Let's go live now to the scene. My colleague Kofi Siao has been following this for us all the Kofi Nadmo there, after the time they did his briefing, had put the figure at 18, but since then we understand that more bodies had been retrieved, and the figure as at the time before we came on air was 20. What's the latest?
Well, Evans, that's the situation now. As you put it, now they've been able to retrieve about 28 persons, and out of the 28, 20 of them are confirmed dead. And let me give you the figures as it is. For the females, they have 11 of them and 9 being males. So if you ask me, the death toll in the area, that is it.
And you've been there today. What has the work progressing in terms of clearing the rubble, but also, of course, finding more bodies? And we are now learning also some of the bodies are now decomposing. How bad is it? What are you seeing?
Well, it's been a very difficult time for the rescuers. What they are going through is can be described as difficult, because if you look at or monitor the work that they are doing, their major challenge has to do with the iron rods that are embedded in the concrete. So the excavators are not able to, penetrate into the rubble. So it makes their work very difficult. And again, you talked about the decomposing bodies. Yes, that's true. The 4 that they retrieved from the morning till this time are all decomposing, and you could see flies all around the place.
I know already questions are being asked about how this happened and holding people responsible. What's the conversation in town as the authorities get to the scene to get to the bottom of this?
Come again?
I'm asking about, we understand that possibly some arrests may have been made as the police and others attempt to get to the heart of how this building collapsed and who should take responsibility for it.
Well, Evans, about the arrest, what I know is that the founder of the church is still at the premises. So it is coming as a surprise to me that we heard of his arrest. So apart from what we heard, there is no more arrest that has been made as far as I know.
Kofi, thank you very much. Thankfully, we can speak to the acting Eastern Regional Police spokesperson, Francis Gomado, joins us on the telephone line right now. Francis, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. So since this happened, I know the police have been pretty busy on this as well. What can you report? What's the situation with the reports we've heard about some arrests being made in connection with the collapse? Can you confirm that? Hello, Francis.
Hello, Evans.
Yes,
good
great.
evening.
Good evening. Thanks that you could join us. I was asking, we've heard reports that some arrests have been made in connection with the collapse of the building. Can you confirm that?
Sure. Arrests have been made. The leader and probably the owner of the church, the collapsed church, Prophet Akua Isaac, has been arrested by the police initially. And, we have this belief that he's indisposed. So he was the one even the church members went to fast and pray for before the unfortunate incident happened. So he's been arrested by the police, Odan Divisional Police Command. Statements obtained from him, and he was released subsequently on a police inquiry bail. So if he's seen in town, it doesn't mean that nothing has been done. I want to clarify that misconception. He's been arrested. And statements obtained from him.
You say he's been arrested. I wonder, has he been charged with anything?
No. For now, he cannot be charged, not because there was nothing like any wrongdoing, but because we need to go deep into the issue and unravel all the circumstances and then bring all the major players on board. So it will be premature for now to charge him for any offense.
Okay, but what
investigations are ongoing, and we'll go to the bottom of it.
Okay, but in the meantime, on what suspicion was he arrested? Is it purely because the church belongs to him?
Come again.
I wonder, based on what suspicion was he arrested? Is it purely because the church belongs to him?
Yes, the church belongs to him. The building also belongs to him.
Oh, the building belongs to him, because the reports that they simply may be renting this structure.
Okay, that is one aspect of the story. But the information we have, he is the leader of the church. You can decouple the leader of the church from the owner of the facility. Are you getting my point? Yes. But the available information, he is the leader and he is the owner. Until proven otherwise. Are you getting my point? That's why I'm saying that we need to do discreet investigation to unravel all the circumstances. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, I do. I mean, is the police interested in other persons of interest?
Your line is faint.
Is the police interested in other persons beyond the? Is the police looking at other individuals, persons of interest beyond the pastor?
Very well. We cannot limit everything to the pastor alone. For all, he's not the only person. So how do we, as investigative body, how do we limit our scope of investigation to the pastor alone? So we need to do more. And this is exactly what we are going to do.
Francis, thank you very much. Francis Gomado speaks for the Eastern Regional Police. Thankfully, we can speak to the Alex Inkum. He's the District Chief Executive for Asene Manso Akroso. Joins us on the telephone line right now. Mr. Inkum, thank you for your time here on Newsnight.
So thank you for calling.
I mean, this particular building, I wonder, clearly there were structural issues and therefore led to the collapse. Did it have a permit? Did your assembly, inspect it? How did this happen?
Thank you. Good evening to your cherished listeners. The building, actually, they started construction somewhere in 1996. And after that time, the assembly was greened out. And we have carved out 3 districts out of that assembly. It's unfortunately that when the last assembly was created, the building fell within my catchment area. So the history of the building dates back as far as 1996. So we are yet to ascertain whether after the time they began the structure, they obtained permit from the assembly.
Okay. However, part of the job of the assembly is also to monitor. So even if it didn't started a while back, in the time that it's falling under your responsibility, what monitoring happened?
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, as a district chief executive, even the building has been there. The last time I saw them working on it is more than 2 years ago. So I don't know what to say, but as a district chief executive, I have not gone there to monitor construction because
I'm not asking you as a district chief executive. You are the boss, and you have an inspectorate division that not only gives the permits, but also supposed to monitor. And you say 2 years ago they were still working. I wonder, in that time when you saw it...
I'm just a district director for the last 2 years.
Yes, but at the same time frame you said you saw that they were building. And the last time you saw them building. I wonder whether in the last 2 years, and the building, for what we've seen, is not really a complete building. What is it that your assembly did in the last 2 years with your inspectorate division?
As I was saying, you know, inspection normally goes on when construction is in progress. And within the last 2 years that I was appointed the district chief executive, I have not seen any construction going on until this incident happened 3 days ago. You understand? So it will be premature for anybody to put the blame on a new assembly that is barely 2 years ago, and this building has been there for the last 24 years. But as it were, if maybe proper check had been done, would have noticed that maybe structurally the building failed structural integrity.
Yeah, I mean that possibly could be the only reason for this to happen. But the pictures we've seen, it looks like this is not a building that you could say is a complete, it's a completed edifice. It looks like it's still work in progress. Correct?
No, it's not completed. It is 4-story, and I can send you the structure.
Yeah, did you say it was uncompleted before it was collapsed? Before it collapsed?
Yes.
Yeah, but that then raises my question. If it's an uncompleted building, you had responsibility to ensure that in fact, when you apply for a permit, you are given 5 years to complete the building. That's if you've read the guidelines for your assembly, you have 5 years to complete the building. And if it's expandable since 1996, 2 years since you've been there, how come you haven't enforced that?
Yes, I don't know who I'm speaking to.
My name is Evans, yes.
Yes. I said the building started around 96. And I can count more than maybe 10 district chief executives who have been a district chief executive for that period. And you see, if the structure was ongoing structure, then that is where my people may go around to do monitoring.
But it's an uncompleted building.
Hello?
It's an uncompleted building, which means that it's still being built.
So it's been left for a very long time.
Yeah, but your code says if you don't finish it in 5 years, the assembly steps in, and you knew that it has been built. They started building this in 1996. You didn't think that you should go in there and enforce your own code?
That is the law. And if it started in 1996, it means 2001, the assembly then should have enforced that provision.
Well, it also means that in 2020, the current assembly should have enforced it too. Long overdue.
Fine. Maybe what you are saying could have sufficed. But as I said, the last 2 years that I have been in office, nothing has gone on at that place. It was only last Friday that he complained to my MP that since the fumigation started, the COVID-19, the assembly hasn't fumigated his church. So I asked my environmental officers to do that for him on Saturday, and the last Sunday they had their first convention or meeting after the outbreak of COVID-19. So we are even lucky it didn't happen on Sunday. Otherwise, the registration would have been worse.
So the assembly, what happens now? Now that people are dead, there may be more bodies found. This is right under your jurisdiction.
Yes. Now the focus now is to recover. If we are lucky to have live bodies, we send them to the hospital for treatment. If not, if we have any dead body, we take them to the morgue. And then after that, a full-scale investigation will happen. And then we can come out with a full report as to the actual cause of this disaster. So Evans is too early this yet. Let's wait for us to save life, and then from there, the full investigation will take place.
Thank you, sir, for your time here on Newsnight. And you just listened to the District Chief Executive for Evans Mensah in Crosso. He's Alex Inkum. A few of your messages on our WhatsApp console on this and others that we've been telling you on Newsnight. This one says this is from Prempe in Legon, says the arrest by the police over the collapse of the building is good, but wouldn't solve the menace unless responsible agencies like Town and Country Planning, EPM, MMDAs up their game. Walanyo says, why is the police not arresting the engineer at the district assembly who gave the pastor permit to build? In fact, we don't even know if he has a permit yet. As you just heard there, it's still something that has to be probed because of the length of time this building has stood there, remain an uncompleted structure. All the Walanyo continues, all they do is to go around to write stop work, produce permit. They then take money, and that's the end of it. Also on Newsnight tonight. This one says, good evening. This is on Nigeria matter. We'll come to that shortly. Sad events there. Many of you are quite interested in that also. George Affe joins me with business. When we return from business, we will be going live to Boko, where the Joy Ballot Box team will be standing by with the very latest on why people will be voting in a certain way. Fascinating outcome as the team there have gathered the views of hundreds of people. George.
We all can't wait to see what the people in Boko will be saying about the elections events. Well, coming up in business, IMF warns the country's rising debt stock remains the biggest threat to stabilizing the economy, and second tranche of cocoa loan syndication set to hit Bank of Ghana's account next month. I mean, a few days after the $650 million came through. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Charlie, make I see if Kofi go fit send me some momo. Make I take hold myself small. Simple you.
If you like the caller tune you're about to listen to, press *1 to copy now.
Let your caller tune do the talking. Express yourself with your caller tune and win big with MTN. Simply dial *1355# or download your favorite caller tune or copy or renew your already existing caller tune and stand a chance of winning up to 1,000 cedis weekly, 4,000 cedis monthly, and the grand prize of 15,000 Ghana cedis and the MTN caller tunes promo. Send stars to 1355 or dial *1355# to subscribe today. We're good together. We there for you everywhere you go.
Fellow Ghanaians, since 2017, the NPP has put over 1.2 million young people through secondary school free because of free SHS. We are leaving no one behind. This December, remember your vote will make a difference in the life of every young person who is currently benefiting from free SHS or getting ready to go to secondary school. Let's protect our progress. Vote NPP. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo for 4 more years to do more for you.
My buddy, why you for just the watch when you can be wild proper? When you for scream, shout, she and kata, put your body, get down, fire your body, catch views, drop the mic. Ghana, the time catch where we for change the way we watch. Welcome to Showmax and to Chow Online Entertainment from movies and series to sports like EPL and La Liga. Feely from Super Sport and more. You feel enjoy them on any device, anytime. Visit showmax.com today. Let's lucky.
The Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, and Ghana Cocoa Board presents the 36th edition of National Farmers Day on the theme Ensuring Agribusiness Development Under COVID-19, Opportunities and Challenges. From the 2nd to 3rd November 2020, Ghana will be bursting with an agricultural fair, exhibition, and regional focus days. Venue, Methodist Park, Techiman, Bono East Region. His Excellency the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, is the guest of honor for the opening. On 5th November will be the ADB Farmers Forum. His Excellency Nana Dudankwe Kufuado is the special guest of honor, with a climax of a grand deba and award ceremony on Friday, 5th November 2020. Farmers, fishers, agro-allied players, among others, are invited to showcase their products and innovations. Major sponsors: Government of Ghana, Agricultural Development Bank, Exim Bank, Stanbic Bank, and more. I call to all farmers and fishers.
John Mahama has a solid track record of investing in the health of Ghanaians. He built ultra-modern hospitals such as the Ridge Hospital, University of Ghana Medical Center, Bank of Ghana Hospital, Maritime Hospital, as well as many district hospitals, polyclinics, and CHIP compounds. The next NDC government will provide free primary health care for every Ghanaian. Our free primary health care plan will provide quality health care for all Ghanaians at no cost to the individual. Under this plan, no Ghanaian will pay for health care in district hospitals, polyclinics, health centers, and CHIP compounds. Free primary health care will eliminate cost barrier to health care and guarantee all Ghanaians universal access to quality health care. You will not need a national health insurance card to benefit from free primary health care. John Mahama, provider of massive hospital infrastructure, is ready to deliver free primary health care to all Ghanaians. Vote John Mahama. Vote NDC.
Joy 99.7 FM.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the IMF has warned that the country's rising debt stock still remains a major threat to firmly stabilizing the economy. Now, this is coming after the fund projected that Ghana would end the year with a debt-GDP ratio of almost 77% from the current 68%. Now, this was captured in its Sub-Saharan African Regional Economic Outlook report released in Washington, D.C. today. Responding to a question posed by Joy Business, head of the African Department, Bibi Selassie said the development is worrying for the country.
This year, the policy response has been very supportive, as needs to be the case. But, going forward, it will be very, very important to make sure that that policies revert back to making sure that there is much more of a focus on keeping debt stable and bringing it down gradually. So I think much will depend on how quickly this policy recalibration takes place. And given how high debt levels were in Ghana, I think the quicker that's done, the better. So I think the government is of the same view, and effecting those reforms will be of paramount importance.
Head of the African Department at the IMF, Bibi Selassie, responding to a question posed by Joy Business from Washington, D.C. today. Latest data from the Bank of Ghana puts the total debt stock ending July at 263 billion Ghana cedis. Ghana is currently classified as high risk of debt distressed country, more of a warning to investors that could have some challenges in paying back our debt on time. And the second tranche of the cocoa loan syndication loan of $650 million is set to hit Bank of Ghana's account next month. This is coming after some $650 million hit the account this week. Now, this will bring the total amount of funds that should come in by the end of next month to $1.3 billion. Now, the Deputy Director at Cocoa Board in charge of operations, Dr. Emmanuel Pokwe, says that this should help them to quickly release their funds to aid the purchases of cocoa beans for the next crop season.
Farmers, as soon as they sell their cocoa, they need their money. So availability of the fund would enable us to pay all farmers who deliver their cocoa to the buyers at the society level.
I believe that also it would help in achieving your targets, one would ask.
Yes, because, right now, the way we've structured our pricing system and that of Cote d'Ivoire, there's not much for anyone to smuggle cocoa. But hitherto, without funds, people begin to take the advantage and sell cocoa to neighboring countries. So we need to make sure that one, that we have funds to pay the farmers, because everybody wants to get paid for the service they provide, or just like you and I, at the end of the month, want to be paid. So,
Deputy Director in charge of operations at Cocoa Board, Dr. Emmanuel Opoku. On the local currency could be stabilizing strongly against the dollar even in the last month of this year. Well, that is the conclusion that one may draw after going through the latest results in terms of the forward sales of dollars put out by the Bank of Ghana. For dollars, the regulator was willing to sell to these banks and investors in 75 days. That is at 5 Ghana cedis, 77 pesos now, compared to the current rate of 5 Ghana cedis, 81 pesos. The Bank of Ghana, during the auction, sold some $25 million to the banks and the investors. Now, business schools are pushing for some clarity on industry demand to help close the gap in terms of tertiary institutions and what the corporate world or the world of work really need. Speaking ahead of PM Express Business Edition, Dean of the Business School of the University of Ghana, that is Professor Bawale, says that this has been one of their major challenges in their quest to close the gap.
One of the things that industry in Ghana hasn't helped our schools a lot is what they require when they had to employ. I get
Prof, some will say that you know that. There are several complaints even about your curriculum design and all the rest. Isn't it something that you already know, Prof?
Yes, I was going to talk about the fact that industry should put that huge impact or demand not only on the universities but also on the students. So
Professor Justice Bawale is the Dean of the University of Ghana Business School. There will be more discussion on this on the PM Express Business Edition tonight at 9 p.m. Now, exhibitors and sponsors are set to offer mouth-watering deals to patrons of the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair later this month. Dura Plus producers of some solid plus products have been highlighting what is on offer for those who will be at the fair. There is Head of Sales, Emmanuel Alote.
We are very innovative with our able R&D department. Yes, we are always, all the time, researching to come up with something to meet the customers' expectation. Customers' demand keeps changing. What 50 years people were looking for, it's not the same as we speak today. And in the same way also, what people will look for in the next 50 years will not be the same today. So we are always looking ahead. We have a vision of always looking ahead to anticipate the customers, their demand. So at any point in time, we meet their demand.
And that is Head of Sales, Duraplas Immonality, talking about some mouth-watering deals for patrons of the Joy News Habitat Fair. To the stock market, if you're a shareholder of GCB today, it was actually up by 75 pesos to close 3 Ghana cedis, 85 pesos. And that's some good news there for GCB customers. Maybe the news about the new MD is actually impacting on the shares of the bank on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Well, this is your election headquarters, and if you live in Boku, what will influence your vote come December 7th, both parliamentary and presidential? Well, my colleagues are currently in Boku ahead of the Joy Ballot Box program in 24 hours. Excitement is building, and the people have been queuing to cast your ballots, writing down the key issues of concern to them that will influence your votes. The debate is going to be tomorrow. Winston Amwa is live now from Boku. Winston, give me a sense of what key issues are emerging. I know you guys have started sorting out the ballots already from the last few days of collation.
Exactly, Evans. We started sorting out the ballot, and in fact, in total, 806 people voted in the 3 constituencies. And the issues that are emerging, one is the poor nature of the roads. The people want their roads fixed. 2, they're talking about unemployment. They feel that lots of people are unemployed and would need jobs. And 3, they have concerns about their security.
We want to see how much.
And also, Winston, there's a particular constituency of PWDs, people with disabilities, that you've been engaging as well ahead of it. This is important to us because of inclusivity. They have very unique, interesting issues that will decide who they vote for.
Exactly, Evans. And speaking to head of the persons with disability in the Boku municipality, Dr. David Azari, complains about, the disability fund, 3%. He feels that should be increased to 5%. He also talked about the unavailability of a resource center for persons with disability. Some of the other concerns they have has to do with, having to go to state facilities and struggling for those who are deaf and dumb and would have to resort to the usage of sign languages. It's become a challenge for them.
We want to see how much the MPs especially will come to our aid in terms of getting us a resource center. We in Boku here, we don't have any place that we can meet. We have to meet under trees near the social welfare grounds. And anytime it's raining, we have to run for dear life. So this is one of the things that any MP that will promise us a place of meeting, a resource center, we would easily vouch for that MP. Thank you very much for the.
Winston, so what's up tomorrow? I understand that you have a packed show. Who is on?
Well, Evan, so all the parliamentary candidates representing the two main political parties in the three constituencies have accepted to join us. And so in the Zebula constituency, you have the incumbent member of parliament, Frank Fusini Adongo, who is also the deputy Upper East Regional Minister. And his main contender is former member of parliament, former interior minister, former majority leader, Cletus Afoka. And then in the Boku Central constituency, incumbent Mama Yerga, for the second time, will be facing Agbanawa Gabiana Abugri, who is the NPP's parliamentary candidate. And then in the Garu constituency, you have Osman Musa, who is representing the NPP, and he will be seeking to unseat the NDC's incumbent member of parliament, Albert Alazuga.
Interesting packed program tomorrow. It starts at 5:30. It's going to be live on the Joy 99.7 FM on the Joy News channel. Also, you don't want to miss it. 5 to 7 it's going to be. Don't miss it for anything. So here on Newsnight, it's on Joy 99.7 FM. Sports now.
King Faisal FC owner Alhaji Karim Guza says it is his wish to see the team play in the elite division of Ghana until he dies. King Faisal were reinstated to the Ghana Premier League together with Great Olympics last year following the FA's acceptance of an 18-club league. The Kumasi-based club found themselves threatened by relegation in the truncated season, and according to Alhaji Guza, steps are being taken to ensure the club remains in the top flight for a long time to come. A report by Joy Sports Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
Head coach Slavisa Bosisic revealed his target is a sixth place finish in the upcoming Ghana Premier League season. However, owner of the club, Alhaji Guza's wish is to avoid relegation.
Now, but you see, you are preparing, God also is doing what he's doing. But this year, I don't want to see King Faisal in relegation again up to my dead body. Okay. That's, inshallah, that's what I want.
King Faisal babies were unable to win a single game in the cancelled football season. Despite their campaign many described as poor, Guza is satisfied with the contribution of the coach to the team of the page.
I think he get sponsors for the Chelsea, and last 2 weeks he told me he's going to meet some academy. They want collaboration with King Faisal, and we are meeting some businessmen in this country for helping. With him and me, if you go to, we have high profile to talk to anyone in this country.
Slavisa's boys will play Wafa in their first game of the upcoming season. The new Ghana Premier League campaign is expected to start on November 13.
To some Europa League fixtures coming up in a few minutes. Tottenham Hotspur at home to Lask. Celtic take on AC Milan. Leicester City hosts Zoria. For full fixtures and results of matches already played, log on to myjoyonline.com/sports. You are up to date in the world of sports. I'm Baba Tando.
And Baba, with sports, stay with us. It's here on Newsnight on Joy 99.7. After a while, we'll hit the campaign trail again and bring you the latest from Nigeria.
Hey, Charlie. My network is really killing me. I have to pay my uncle's workers mobile money, but the charges alone, it's about 380 cedis. Charges alone just to send money? That's 10
bags of cement already, my guy. Listen, bro, you can save money on charges if you move to Vodafone Cash now.
Vodafone Cash?
But my network is... Hey, sending money on that your network, you pay. Sending money on your network to other networks, you pay. But guess what? Sending money on Vodafone Cash is free. Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is also absolutely free. No charges at all on Vodafone Cash. So tell me, what are you still doing on that your network? Massa, look sharp, then move to Vodafone Cash.
Hey, make a change the SIM right now.
Yes, sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is now absolutely free. Send unlimited amounts of money as many times as you like for free. Just dial *110# now to send money.
The future is exciting. Ready?
And on the campaign trail tonight, the president is in Kete-Krachi in the Oti region today. President Akufo-Addo is continuing his tour, and today he has been inspecting the construction of the Krachi Town Road. Speaking at the Durbar, the president impressed upon residents of Oti region to vote for the governing MPP in the upcoming December polls. And as the president talking about the umbrella, of course, representing the NDC, and he doesn't see why the folks there continue to take shelter under it, because he believes he hasn't done much to the NDC's camp now. And flag bearer John Mahama, who is in the western region town of Dumbanso, the former president addressing chiefs and people at Durbar, alleged that families have experienced the worst form of hardship under this administration.
A lot of promises were made to you during the last election, but none of them have been fulfilled.
And that is John Mahama there. And just before we go, a quick update on the situation in Nigeria. Tonight, the 2021 budget for the Federal Republic of Nigeria could be in danger because the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, is warning he will not sign off on it unless it contains compensation for all citizens abused by the Nigerian police in the last decade.
As Speaker of this House of Representatives, let me say now, for the records to reflect, and in the expectation that I will be held to account, I will not sign off on a 2021 budget that does not include adequate provisions to compensate those who have suffered violence and brutality at the hands of the police in Nigeria in the last decade.
And you had Femi Gbajabiamila, who is the House of Representatives Speaker in Parliament in Nigeria. And just before we go, a big congratulations to one of our own, who, of course, has been recognized. Multimedia's Group Chief Human Resource Officer Samuel Nanaimbro Elegba, who has been appointed as a member of the National Council of the Ghana Employers Association. The Ghana Employers Association is the national employers organization whose membership comprises enterprises operating in all sectors of the economy. The GEA, as is known, provides a wide range of professional services and management training to members in all aspects of human resource management, industrial relations, occupational health, safety and employee relations, and employment law. In a statement, the management of the group said, "Congratulations once again, Nana. We wish you a very successful tenure of office and look forward to your valuable contributions to the Ghana Employers Association of Ghana in general and the media fraternity in particular." And that's it for Newsnight tonight. My name is Evans Mensah. Enjoy the rest of your evening.